Bismillah, wassalatu wassalam Rasulullah, sallallahu wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. My name is Tark Audi. I am the Executive Director of the Council on American Islamic Relations, Connecticut. For those of you that don't know, CARE is the largest civil rights organization dedicated to protecting the rights of Muslims and all people to stay clear from hate, bigotry, and misinformation. There's a number of different things out there that we do. Today's topic and today's presentation is regarding school bullying. We have Mahnur Khan, who is a psychologist major and someone practicing, doing her master's degree at UConn. We also have Nick Brundage, our outreach coordinator, who's running the cameras today. And God willing, we'll have a great presentation. The subject of today's presentation is school bullying, anti-Muslim school bullying, and we will touch on various aspects of this topic. Let's first start with introductions. Mahnur?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mahnur Khan. Today will be talking about school bullying and how to prevent these actions and the actions to take when something like this happens. I like to focus more on the mental health side of bullying and the serious effects it can have and how to prevent these things from happening.
And tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
I'm actually a recent UConn graduate. I majored in psychology, and in the future, I would like to focus on peer relations with minority children, and I would like to get my trauma therapy license as well.
And how did you come to know about and volunteer with CARE?
Through personal connections. My dad actually used to be in CARE, and I actually found out about CARE online as well, and I saw what CARE stood for and the kind of outreach they were doing, and that really clicked with me.
And would you recommend that others in your age group participate and volunteer for CARE?
Yes, definitely. I think it's a really good opportunity to get to know people within this field, as well as get a little bit of knowledge of what is going on within our Muslim community in Connecticut, as well as the rest of the United States.
Awesome. So without further ado, and hopefully without technical problems, we're going to run our Know Your Rights presentation on anti-school bullying. The format's going to be basically myself and Mahnur speaking and going over the slides. We do this presentation in Masajid all across the state of Connecticut. And once things get back to the new normal, whatever that is, we'd love to have Mahnur and myself and Nick and the whole CARE crew come out to your masjid and present live this information. Prior to COVID, we had several different scheduled events. They all got canceled, but we wanted to get back onto the Know Your Rights circuit, so to say, to make sure that when school does start back up and when things do get back to normal, we are equipping our students with some basic knowledge to help combat what can be a very difficult time in their lives. So this is the Council on American Islamic Relations, Connecticut, CARE, Connecticut. We are, like I said, the largest civil rights organization dedicated to protecting the rights of Muslims and all people to be free from hate, bigotry, and misinformation. Our vision is to be the leading advocate for justice and mutual understanding in the state of Connecticut and throughout the United States of America. Our mission is to enhance the understanding of Islam encourage dialogue, protect civil liberties, empower American Muslims, and build coalitions that promote justice and mutual understanding. CARE is the largest Muslim civil rights group in the United States. We have 36 chapters nationwide, media outreach and representation in all 50 states. If you are been treated unfair, call CARE.
Okay, so the definition of bullying is any unwanted aggressive behavior among school-age children that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. The behavior is repeated or has the potential to be repeated over time. So cyberbullying is very prevalent today because we have more access to technology. And because of this, there's a lot of people on social media, and there's a lot of bullying online over there. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are a few where bullying can be seen. Cyberbullying is much more common because people feel more emboldened online. They don't really have an identity online, so they can cover themselves up. 81% of kids think it's easy to get away with, so many people ignore it. And so that way they have more freedom to say or do whatever they want online. Any post or any rude comment, it can be shared multiple times and it can also be deleted. So there is some gray area where even certain evidence can be deleted. It can even be shared. So this graph actually shows all these social media sites and the prevalency rate that people use it, and there's a lot of bullying, mainly on Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram.
And Mahnur, what constitutes bullying on Instagram? I thought it was just a bunch of pictures.
Actually, even within pictures, you can find like very like rude, racist, any type of message can be found within the picture, and people can actually comment on the pictures. So they can leave a comment saying anything, and then people can like those comments. They can even reply to those comments themselves. So it's really just, it could be a never-ending thread of rude comments and behaviors of bullying.
And some of the things that we've seen sent in to us in emails in the workplace or in school, there goes around many anti-Muslim memes. Some of them have people hung up on trees and with different sayings on the back of it, basically all against Islam and Muslims. Some of it could be as simple as just an "I don't like you" sticker and the term Muslim on top of it. We've seen all those types of things in the office. What are some of the effects of cyberbullying?
So cyberbullying is especially harmful, not only because it happens so much today, but because we were just talking about how people post memes, pictures, even hashtags where there are groups of pictures, and people can make accounts solely just for bullying somebody or having anti-Islamic remarks, Islamophobic remarks. So this actually shows 57% of Muslim students report that their peers have made offensive remarks online. It can severely impact your mental health, where 41% of cyberbullied kids, they developed social anxiety. It can also affect your academics. 64% of victims said that they feel unsafe in school, and it affected their ability to learn. So this is extremely important to know about because technology is all around us and it governs our lives. So if you are surrounded by it, you see it every single day. So it's very important to know the signs. If you see something Islamophobic, report it, tell it to an adult, don't ignore it.
What does social anxiety look like? If I'm a parent and I'm trying to ascertain if my kids are negatively affected by this these types of actions, how do I identify social anxiety?
So, with going to school, sometimes kids can um, report feeling like stomach aches. They say that they don't feel good. And a lot of those times it can lead to absences in school. And because they report feeling sick, that is kind of like an identification that they have some kind of anxiety. They don't want to go to school and see their peers and fear that they might say something to them, or they might start talking about what they've seen online.
Okay. Can we move to the next slide, please?
Yeah. So there are a lot of reasons why people bully in general. Um, it's universal across all types of bullying. Muslim students, mainly, they're common targets of bullying because there's a lot of misinformation spread online and in general about Islam. And the bully's only understanding of Islam generally comes from the media and uninformed assumptions. They can even be influenced by peers and their general surroundings. Bullies, they can be influenced by their parents, the information that their parents are getting from the media. Um, bullies can even be influenced by their peers. There's a lot of bystanders within schools. They see that a person is getting bullied, but they don't do anything about it. Um, so that is kind of an indication that they are complicit with that behavior that's going on. So it's very important to identify those things.
Just the more prevalence of this with the social media, it just has to be a terrible thing, because a lot of the social medias are there to sort of show off how well you're doing, or what you're doing with your life, and this type of things. So not only is it something that people can use to bully, but then also, you just feel sort of maybe that you're not as, things aren't going as well for you as it is for other people, when in reality, what people put on social media is just sort of their self, an ideal of what their selves are. So it's just, it's a terrible situation for folks, and that's why we, make this one of the most important parts of our mission.
And you take care of the social media and stuff these days as outreach coordinator. What kind of stuff have you heard from the public at large on those social feeds?
Oh my gosh, we're lucky we have a wonderful community on our social feeds, but we have some of the worst and most ridiculous comments on our social media that we have to report. I mean, often we try to ignore and just delete, but I mean, there are some where we have to contact authorities because they are, over the top and to the point of straight threatening events and stuff that we have. So, it's something that needs to be taken care of at a young age, because these people who, when they don't, they spiral, and they keep on bullying and bullying and bullying until they're older adults, and they get to, they have authority, and then they use their authority, or, to keep bullying people and to threaten people. So it's something that needs to be, taken care of at a young age for the folks who are doing the bullying.
And did you ever receive any complaints about the youngsters? I know we all have to deal with the Islamophobes, and we have to deal with the negative impacts of a poorly vetted social media outlets with adults. Have you received any complaints from students themselves at CARE?
Yeah, I mean, we've dealt with a handful of different situations where folks have been bullied, from, for wearing hijabs to people calling them inappropriate names. We I've even met with some of the state senators about bullying. We met with State Senator Needleman about some situations and just about how, we really need to root out this issue for folks.
Yeah, I remember sitting in a room at about 11 o'clock at night with a student in the Waterbury area. Me and one of our board members, Fahad Syed. It was really unique because both of us understand what it's like to deal with our students, with our children, the people that we love, these kids being bullied because of who they are, because of not understanding that, actually it's not a not understanding, it's actually absolutely correct. You should stand up for who you are and not care if you're not doing anything wrong about expressing yourself and your religious views and your views in general. That's why we're here in America. And it was really telling that right after a trip to the mosque, we were pulled over by one man. I believe he was Iraqi, and spent about 45 minutes with him in the mosque parking lot, and then went to his house, and met with his daughter, and basically listened to her tell about her story and how she was negatively impacted by these school bullies. And we were able to make appointments with school officials and basically get them some semblance of help, at least allow them to understand the situation, understand that they're not alone, and understand that there are rules in place to help them and their families just be who they are. Mahnur, do you have any stories about being bullied, either personal or one of your friends or anybody?
Yeah, actually, a while ago, and I was in 8th grade, I went through an incident of bullying where a student called me a terrorist. And I know a lot of students have gotten that. It's a very common thing that people like to say to Muslims. But fortunately, my school was actually really great in handling the situation. The first thing I did was tell my dad, and my dad went to the principal, and they were able to figure out the right thing to do, where the student was actually suspended for a few weeks. And at first I didn't know what to say to that person who called me a terrorist, but I knew that I couldn't let it just sit on the side and not do anything about it. I had to tell somebody. And another thing that I kind of agree with Nick, what he said was that some of these people hold these beliefs and they carry it into their adulthood. And then when they're put in these positions of power, they act out their biases and prejudice behaviors on other people. And my sister as well, she was called a terrorist in high school. And this was only about a year ago. And I told her to go to the teacher, tell the teacher, go to the principal, tell our parents knew about it. Except it only reached to about the teacher and the counselor, and they talked about reporting it, and nothing really ever happened. The principal didn't address it or anything like that. And historically, when I was in high school, there have been other incidents of bullying. This student wasn't even Muslim. He was Black, and he was pressured into taking a picture that was very racist, and it became a big thing. And only when the media got involved was when our school addressed it. So I feel like there also needs to be some kind of intervention with teachers, principals, especially counselors, because counselors are the ones that interact with students the most, as well as teachers. So
And that's, thank you for sharing. That's one of the functions of our organization, Council on American Islamic Relations Connecticut, is to provide that sounding board. And if you have, or if you feel that you've been treated unfair in the workplace or at school, specifically in this context, if your children have been attacked for being who they are and sharing their beliefs, you should contact us. CARE Connecticut's 860-341-2247. That's 860-341-2247. You can contact me at tark.audi@care.com, and you can visit us online, send out a report on our website, www.care-ct.com. Mahnur, I really appreciate you coming to do this webinar with us.
thank you.
As things work out, we'll be taking our show on the road, and we're going to be educating and empowering the people of Connecticut to stand up to hate, bigotry, and discrimination in all of its forms, whether it's in the classroom or the boardroom, and we can even take it to the courtroom.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Nick, are you still there?
Yeah, I think that you know, I really appreciate Mahor's time, and I think that this is an excellent, you know, way to get this information out, because, you know, it's easy for someone, you know, when someone feels like they're bullied, sometimes they feel like it's, you know, sort of their own fault. And I think one of the most important things that we want to let the kids and the folks know, that it's not theirs fault, and that we're here to help them.
Mahnur, you're here helping us, so you have the last word on the whole subject. Tell us what you think.
I just want to say thank you. I'm glad that I found out about CARE, because it really changed my outlook on life. It really made me feel like I wish I knew about CARE before. When I was in high school, when I was in middle school, it doesn't make you feel isolated. It makes you feel like there is somebody there for you and they have your back, you have support. And especially in today's environment, I feel like that is very important, to have that backbone. So yeah, thank you.
Jazakallah khair for watching. We will be to a mosque or a school near you soon when things turn to normal. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome.